the names, guys. Alright, well, here we are loading on into our third map. This has been a relatively one-sided series so far, despite two really good games. We'll see if our blue Terran can continue his dominance. He is none other than Complexity's QXC, spawning in the bottom left.
And his opponent, in the top right corner of the map, he's red. He has ties to the Stark family. It is the bastard of Ned. It is JonSnow. And you can follow, well, he doesn't have his own Twitter, but his team's Twitter is at .sca if you guys want to check them out. And I gotta say, like, big shout out to SCA. Forget QXC for a minute. Yeah, who the hell's that guy? We have personally been working with StarCraft Ascension to throw on some events, extra show matches, and they've been partnering with us to, you know, whether it's splitting costs or just using us to cast their events. Either way, it's been a pleasure working with them so far, and I cannot wait to do more. So guys, if you're fans of Basetradetv, I do implore you check out StarCraft Ascension, because they are our very good friends.
They are pretty baller guys, and we did just have a show match between Lucky and who was it last week? Lucky and Happy Zerk.
Yep. Ooh, of course, they had the little preview warm-up show match too. That was pretty cool. And
yes, of course.
I believe we're in the works. I don't know if we have this confirmed yet. Of your team actually taking on StarCraft Ascension in the near future.
Yeah, we're hoping to have that go down next weekend. Of course, hasn't been 100% set down, but also we want to be using our new signing, who shall be unveiled on Thursday.
Yeah, you guys gonna do like an EG style like announcement for it, where Slasher leaks it all for you, or you gonna announce it yourselves?
We'll announce it ourselves. We have our video guy doing a video.
Well, that'll be pretty cool. Yeah, for those who don't
Hopefully
know, Penguin.
it'll be on the less. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't want to take too much away with this show match, just talking about things unrelated, but just while we got this little downtime while the game starts up, Penguin is player and coach, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, for My Insanity. Captain, sorry, my mistake. Either way, a boss in the ranks.
So hopefully we'll be able to see some more SCA action next weekend. But for now, we still have at least two more games. The QXC fans are saying that it's two more games, but I'm hoping we see a couple more, Rifkin.
You know, every time we cast these show matches, I always say it, and it always sounds so cheesy, but I always want to see these games go to the ace match, because when you're casting like a best of 5 in like a tournament, you know that they've played like, you know, 14, 15 games to get to that point, but when it's just that show match, you want as much out of it as you can. Not because like you're trying to squeeze time or viewers or money or anything like that, but just these players, when you've got high caliber players facing off like this, yeah, QXC's definitely looking really good right now, but I'd love to see JonSnow make a comeback.
And yeah, I mean, speaking of JonSnow and we mentioned his accomplishment of almost reverse all killing EG in the Team Strike Cup. I actually just brought that page up just so, in case people are wondering, he did actually Revival 4-killed SCA, and then they sent out JonSnow, and he came out and he bashed Revival, he bashed Thorazane, he took out Suppy, and only lost to Jaedong, as you said. And of course, Jaedong is a ZVZ god, so no shame in that.
Is there a word higher than God? I mean, really, because I think that's the more appropriate phrase.
Oh, Chuck Norris.
There you go. He's the ZVZ Chuck Norris. God damn it! What have we devolved into here, Penguin?
But yeah, I mean, I was looking that up because I was interested to see if he'd taken out any Terrans, and he did take out Thorazane, so he has pretty strong CBT. Obviously, QXC has won the first two games. The second game looking a little more one-sided.
You can never count. Yeah, you gotta wait till it's like on that you know, last match, potential match point before you can really count a player down and out. Because
yeah,
these first two games, yeah, they didn't go his way, but he tried two completely different strategies to realize that, look, neither of these really work against QXC.
Oh, Rifkin. We have a very early Roach Warren coming up.
I would love to see a lot of damage go down.
Not a defensive Roach Warren. I mean, the defensive Roach Warren generally would come up around 6 minutes, 6:25. This is going to be some aggression.
This is going to work really nicely, because look what QXC has on the field. He's going for that third command center early on. Not something non-typical of a Terran player, but doing so, look at this barracks, look at this factory. There's little to no production. Yes, he's got a bunker down, but a lot of roaches is very hard to hold off.
There's no add-on on this barracks. He can only produce one Marine at a time. I mean 9 roaches on the way. I'm pretty sure he's going to drone behind us. I don't think he's going to... No, he's going up to 10 roaches. So
roaches with
I'm
dispatch.
not sure if he's going to all in here or if he's going to just go for heavy pressure into droning. But it looks like he wants to go at least semi-all in. 12 roaches on the way, but there's the drone. So he is going to go back into droning. I like this decision. This can do a lot of damage.
Oh, absolutely.
There's 2 Hellions on the map. I mean,
yeah, it's going to shred the Hellions to bits. And then what's there behind this one single bunker? I mean, even
I would
if
actually
QXC
kind of like him to see... I would like to see him leave 2 roaches at home. deal
Well,
with the Hellions.
even
Because
if
he has
QXC
avoided the Hellion.
We've got Widow Mines coming out now, but Widow Mines don't fare that well against roaches either. They don't even one-shot the roach. It's got so much health.
Alright. He sees it. He sees it. He comes to the watchtower. He sees one roach moving forward. He sees 3 roaches moving forward. So he can assume there are more ahead. He just doesn't know how many. And now he's going to see the big clump. 9 roaches moving up the front right now. 2 Widow Mines on the way, as you said, but those do not do amazingly versus roaches. He has a second bunker up, but... oh, is he going to lose the Widow Mines? He loses 1. He loses...
No,
he
the
actually
second
gets
one
the
just
burrow.
barely doesn't go
And a
down.
great Widow Mine hit.
But
is
the
he gonna be
bunker
able to
might
come
still
up?
fall. Oh, the SVs do get the repair on it just in time. Marauder on the high ground.
Really nice play there by QXC. We have to see JonSnow going for SCV kills now. There we go. He is going to be going for the SCV kills. He can still trade relatively evenly here as long as he picks off some of the workers. He's taking a third behind us. Definitely a nice choice. He's still going for the bunker, though. That is a mistake. He needs to go for the SCVs.
QXC's repairing the Widow Mine, something I've not actually seen before.
Oh, he actually has to be careful. The Widow Mine splash could take out some of the SCVs, but it doesn't. And this is cleaned up. He does lose 11 workers. It's not a great trade for JonSnow, but it's not a terrible trade.
I feel JonSnow could have done more if you just ignored that bunker. Like, just walk north, take out the other bunker. It had nothing in it at the start of the fight. In fact, now it only has SCVs in it. Poke away at the orbital from afar or something, anything, but... yeah, I mean, the workers killed just too much focus on that bunker.
Yeah, he could have killed at least 4 or 5 more SCVs, I feel. But either way, he's looking okay. He's up in workers. He's up by 6. It's not a huge amount. But the problem now is that there's 3 CCs out. So QXC has triple mules. He doesn't really care that much. He's on full saturation already on those 2 bases. Full mineral saturation anyway. And, I mean, he is ahead.
Yeah, no question about that, but... JonSnow gonna find himself having to deal with these Hellions. These drones are in so much danger right now, Penguin.
Yeah, he is actually getting a nice little mini surround on one of those Hellions, and actually really well dealt with. This little...
was temporarily well dealt with.
I mean, good micro coming out of QXC, but only killing off 4 workers. I think one of those might have even been a scout, so that may be 3 workers. 3 or 4 workers, either way. A good scan goes down on the main. He does see the lair is finishing up. He will actually see it finish, so he knows the timing of it exactly. That's a very nice scan.
But the follow-up to this, I mean, like, as a Zerg player, it's so easy to fall back at that Muted Link Bane composition. And looks like, yeah, we're actually going to have exactly that. Spire coming out next. We've got the melee weapons on the way. I don't know. This didn't work so well last game for him, but this time he's been the one to put on the aggression. He's not stuck at home defending like he was game 2 versus QXC.
Mutiling Bane is just so super standard at this point. I think JonSnow, he can't quite know how ahead or behind he is, so I think he's just going into this thinking, okay, we're probably around even, which is the case. He's behind, but it's not by much, so he can go into Mutiling Bane and be okay. He's going to want to go into Ultralisk as fast as possible here. His upgrades are behind a tiny, tiny bit, but nothing too critical here.
See, I feel, actually, I'm going to somewhat disagree. I think the longer a Zerg player, from an observing standpoint, can hold off going Ultras, I think the better. Because I feel that the most powerful strength to the Ultralisk is that swap. Not the fact that you actually physically have them on the field. Because most Terran players, whether you're the Grandmaster or the noob, so many people, look at this, we got so many reactors at home and almost no tech labs. If you show Ultras are on the field, you're going to have time, you're going to give your Terran player time to get those tech labs up and suddenly have a ton of Marauders.
I mean, that can be strong, but generally what you want to do is you want to get like 6, 7 Ultras and then just push. You want to get like, what you'll do is you'll save up money when the Ultralisk Cavern finishes, and then as soon as the Ultralisk Cavern finishes, you'll produce 5 or 6 to 7 Ultras, and then you'll immediately go with that. Because generally a lot of Widow Mines will, they'll still have a lot of Widow Mines from the mid-game, which takes up a lot of supply, and the Ultras do really, really well against that. So you're going to want to kill them, or at least kill off a base or 2 with that Ultra Push, and then you transition into a later stage.
I really feel that style of Ultra Push, though, relies on a lower caliber Terran player to have that not work. I've seen QXC, TLO pull that off several times and lose. Never once have I seen him win doing exactly that. Not to say like it's not going to work and it's a bad strategy, but I think someone like QXC is going to be more than well prepared to deal with that. In my eyes,
he'll be able to deal with it if he controls better, but that generally comes down to the Terran's control. So we'll see.
Well, Marines do some really nice center step action, picking off way more surface than probably they should have.
QXC just giving little every little unit. Oh, Rifkin, we have 2 medevacs being caught out of position by the Mutas, but they do boost away.
But the problem is
get one.
The boost only lasts so long. Mutas will
but
eventually outrun them.
Wow.
But, they both live with almost no health. He's coming back in for round 2. He's just got to pick off these Mutas. The infantry's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, there we go. He will clean it up. But if he picked off those 2 medevacs for free, that would have been really, really nice.
Well, he's gonna actually
Overall,
clean this
still a
up
nice
too.
move.
Yeah, he cleans
Yeah,
up
still a
everything
nice
that came out of it, plus the medevacs. I mean, this is a different JonSnow if you were watching this game, Penguin.
Yeah, he's stepping it up a notch. I think he's realized, wait a minute, QXC is actually still pretty good at this game. So,
Well, I
he needs
highly
to
doubt.
step it up.
I highly doubt either of these players comes into these matchups and they go like, no, I'm gonna underestimate my opponent
I'm kidding,
intentionally.
I'm kidding.
Like, well, no, I know that's not what you're saying, but I'm saying like, can you imagine if someone actually had that mentality where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna underestimate this guy, because why the hell not? Ooh, nice pick off of that full medevac.
Yeah, these Mutalisks are just taking a lot of map control here, and
This
DayBreak
is-
is a great map for this. So, I like this choice from JonSnow as a map, and the Mutas are going to poke on into the third. If they can pick up a gas, that's not, I mean, it's not the biggest thing in the world for somebody going bio, especially with the overgas that QXC has, but there's not really all that much spending.
Oh, what?
There we go.
Could have finished the turret off. Danced around with the Mutalisk. Meanwhile, this drop here.
Meanwhile,
Yeah, it's getting chased around by those ground units. QXC cannot find a safe place to land.
I like the way we're seeing JonSnow play this. He's just using the mutas for map control. I think he overextended a little bit into the third. I like that he's just sort of keeping him on three base rather. He's keeping him on 3 base and not really allowing QXC to do drop play. I mean, QXC loves his multitasking. He loves his drop play because he's good at it. But JonSnow's just not letting it work. And here come the mutas, gonna pick off another full medevac. That is a nice pick off. And now he's gonna go hide.
A really key point too is, unlike Akalon Waste, like, you can actually starve your opponent out. Like, if JonSnow does this properly and just keeps doing what he's been doing for the rest of the game, QXC will never take a 4th base. And if he never takes 4th base, he's just going to lose to attrition. And, oh man, this medevac does get scouted. Mutalisks are not nearby though.
Yeah, well, he will be able to defend this. It's not going to come as a huge shock, at least. So
he's
that's a
gonna-
little minor win.
Is he gonna
And
try to
here come the
intercept?
mutas, here come the lings. And he should lose this. I mean, I'm not sure how much he's going to be able to kill with this. He will scout the hive timings. That's relatively big. He won't know the exact timing, obviously, but he will know that it's coming on up. And he kills off a few banelings as well. So overall, a nice little trade. Meanwhile, we had a ling run by into the 3rd base. What did it actually kill? 6 workers, so not terrible.
But we finally have QXC making his push out of the map. He's got a lot of Marines, couple Widow Mines, but with no real support behind this, I'm really scared for this push.
Yeah, actually, I feel like JonSnow actually waited a little long on going into the Ultras, because at this point we have QXC maxed, and this is the kind of, I mean, a maxed out fight, Ling Muta versus Widowmine Bio Tank, is going to be really tough for the Ling Muta player to win, and he will probably put up an Ultra Cavern as soon as he possibly can. He's already saving up the resources for the Ultra Switch, but I mean, the Ultra Cavern's not down yet. He's getting upgrades, he's getting Adrenal Glands, and he's actually not going to go Ultras. He's going to go Broodlords. I kind of like this. It's something that a lot of people have been going back into recently.
Oh, this drop in the main is going to get caught once again by these Mutalisks. JonSnow.
Meanwhile, push at the front.
Yeah.
A few free kills for that.
There are more than enough banelings here if there's no spread, but look at the Widow Mines, look at the tank fire. JonSnow cannot push up this ramp at all. He has to fight defensively. And nice Widow Mine, or Baneling connects rather. Widow Mine's being taken out on top of this.
Yeah, he's pushing in piecemeal. I feel like he doesn't have his units on hold position. He has to wait for the mutas, and here come the mutas though.
A great
Whoa.
evacuation here at the 3rd base of QXC at the same time. Those banelings did nothing.
Well, he's actually using the mutas to clean up the tank count. Tank count is going down. What exactly do we have for JonSnow on the map? Nothing really in production. A
But
couple of lings.
it's 5
Is he going to be able to
bases.
clean this up? I think he should be able to clean this up. But now we have an SCV pull from the 3rd base. Oh, he is actually returning those.
Yeah,
But
that
4 more
baneling
kills,
attempt.
and he lost almost all his mutas. That's a big thing. He's down to 6 mutas, and now that he doesn't really have any tech units rather, he has tech, but he doesn't have any tech units.
But let's not
Getting the
forget,
cards out now.
like, right now, JonSnow can actually afford to throw away units, whereas QXC cannot. He's only just gotten his 4th base up.
I actually disagree very much so, because JonSnow, the kind of units he wants to be making now, they take a long time to make. He's only got Corruptors in production now. He's gonna have to wait for those to finish, then he's gonna have to wait to morph them into Broodlords, and until then he doesn't really have all that much on the field, so this 5th base is gonna go down. He's gonna be able to pick up and leave, and there's not really enough mutas to deal with these medevacs.
No, you need a large amount to pick these off, but actually QXC not leaving, does just decide to support and continue to drop in the main. Again, finally.
Get in the main.
It's
Not really getting all that much so far. He gets a gas, not the biggest thing. There's a bunch of lings just sitting there not doing anything. He could lose his pool. No, he's not gonna lose his pool. But he does weaken it, so if he comes in later, he could be able to do some good damage there.
But meanwhile, this very important forward base is under siege. These Marines are going to get cleaned up, but there's still Widow Mines. These Zerglings have got to be careful. A little bit of a misfire on the Mutalisks.
Relatively nice trading here for JonSnow. He has 7 Broodlords on the way. That's the big thing. Once those get out, there's really nothing to be able to deal with them.
Yeah,
I
there's
think
no Vikings on the
based
field at all.
playstyle, based on oh, he sees it now though. He has a medevac that's in range of one of the Broodlords, and he's actually going to go in towards the third base here. I thought he was going
But
to drop onto the Broodlord. That would have been cool.
Here's the
But
scary danger, though. QXC, with the lack of Mutalisk on the field, has finally been able to start doing these drops, and I feel like shutting down the drops of QXC has been...
oh, big Doom drop into the main. Sorry to interrupt you, Ripkin, but this could be devastating.
Yeah, the Marines are just too much. There's not enough Zerglings. He's got to wait for these very expensive units to get up here. More Zerglings on the way, but Spawning Pool will be taken out, and that's quite devastating for JonSnow.
Meanwhile, the 5th base killed off again. Spawning Pool is dead, as you said. 3 starports on the way, so, I mean, JonSnow's given QXC the time he needs to respond to the Broodlord switch, and he's going to be able to get a lot of Vikings out very, very soon, and, I mean, there's really no sign of JonSnow wanting to be aggressive anytime soon. He doesn't really have the capacity to be aggressive right now. He's just being forced to defend on all fronts, and all of those medevacs get away. I mean, he loses the units, but...
Well, what I was trying to say
overall,
before was,
great.
the thing is, QXC's biggest strength is his drop play, and I mean, JonSnow, until he stopped producing Mutalisks, he was shutting this down all game, and I think that's what was really keeping QXC behind. But as we saw, as soon as these drops started actually making connections to these bases, again coming to the main with another 2, it's really causing JonSnow to just be kind of like, oh god, why am I losing? Like, what happened?
Yeah, we actually have a good number of corrupts on the map, but there's 5 Vikings per cycle coming out. That's a ton of Vikings. He has 6 at the moment. He's about to finish 5 more, and then he'll probably have another 5 by the time this army actually hits. So I don't.
Oh,
really
we're gonna focus down the Greater Spire. Oh, but those Baneleys get there just in time to save the building. Of course, these Broodlords cannot respond in time. They are so slow, but as you said, with these Vikings on the field, there are Corruptors, but it's the Marines that are so scary.
Yeah, there are Queens and Infestors here. Oh, nice fungal going down to the bio.
Beautiful
But
fungal.
there's not that many fungals available. He doesn't have that many Infestors, so he has to use them sparingly, and it would probably be better to use them on the Vikings. There, he gets one. It's not a terrible one.
Well, Corruptors are doing a fair amount of damage to this, but the spread here is
Here
really
comes the
nice.
everything, though. And the lane's actually pushing forward. JonSnow doing pretty well. The Queens are coming up to try to transfuse. He still has all 7 Broodlords, but the Corruptors are being taken down slowly but surely.
They all
He
drop
only
at
has
the
2 more
third
Corruptors.
base.
He needs to transfuse that Corruptor. The last Corruptor goes down, and now the Vikings are uncontested in the skies. Only a couple of Queens to take them out, but there are not really enough of them, I feel.
But
It looks
QXC
like he
got
will
to the
take out
third,
base.
and now he's taking
Yes.
the 4th out as well. This one drop has been doing so much damage behind this. Planetary does fall, but the Queens, as weird as it is to say, did drive the Vikings back for the time being.
Yeah, the Queens are actually doing a very, very good job here. There are enough transfuses on them to keep this Broodlord army alive for quite a while. He killed off that one base, but there's a planetary over the top, so there's still 4 bases for QXC.
There's
and JonSnow
far
is
too-
now making the Ultralisk Cavern. This is what he needed. This is what he needed to do, but he really hasn't had the economy to do it up until now. He's trying to stabilize, but he only has 51 workers, so this is going to be really difficult.
There's far too many Vikings on the field for these transfuses to contend with. I mean, look at this. One volley is going to start eradicating these Broodlords. And QXC, with no air defense, is just going to be forced to sacrifice these units. Not a fun thing to have to do, but oh, it's devastating to watch, Penguin.
Yeah, this hurts as a Zerg player. I'm dying inside a little bit. It's like all the Lings running under the Vikings going, let me help! But oh man, these Widow Mines as well, there's still Widow Mines sitting here that can still continue to do damage. Another drop coming into the center base here for JonSnow. Good pickup by QXC, and a Widow Mine going off, killing almost all those Lings. That was devastating. Goes up to 16 kills.
Not to mention that tank shelling from the high ground, doing a ton more damage.
20 more kills! What? Well, this is actually looking pretty grim.
This is not looking good at all. You're right. The Ultralisk swap should have been much earlier. I don't agree with the choice to go with Broodlords. I mean, he had the right idea. Big drop coming into the main once again, but it just took too long to execute it, I feel.
Yeah, we have another quadruple medevac drop coming into the main. There's really not enough to hold this.
Oh,
There's
Penguin.
Raven transition.
Hang on, before we leave this game, I want to point out there was no pathogen glands either. Bit of
Yeah,
an oversight.
And I mean, yes and no. I feel like a lot of players have actually just avoided going pathogen glands recently because it is an investment, and most people like to stick to only 2 or 3 infestors. But I feel like if he wanted to go heavy on the Broodlords, he should have had more infestors, and then pathogen glands definitely would have been more helpful.
Something here from chat too. Why am I losing? What happened? QXC happened. That seems to be the case. Because now JonSnow's on the back burner hardcore. He is one match away from utter defeat, Penguin.